Yeah, so We Buy Ugly Houses, which is trademarked, is one of the smartest advertising campaigns, most effective advertising campaigns ever. And it wasn't created by Madison Avenue or by a think tank of advertising people getting together and charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for the rights to it. So Ken Di Angelo, who grew up in Dallas, was just a regular guy and a lot of fun. One of the greatest guys in my lifetime. We were contemporaries, and we spent a lot of time together after I met him, and he was a franchisor and struggling and needed some help from me. And he had been a real estate agent and knew a lot about real estate, was very good, was good at selling, was not a high pressure guy. Ken set the example of, if you want to sell somebody something, become their friend first. And Ken would loan you money. Ken would loan his car. Ken would, at his own deficit, would do things to help you out. And everybody knew that about Ken. And he was a successful real estate broker in Dallas. But he kind of got fed up with having a lot of agents working with him. It wasn't an easy business, but he was successful at it. And there was a lady who kept bugging him to list her house. And Ken was very, very polite. And he didn't want to say to the lady, look, I would list your house, but it's not in good condition. It's run down. I can't sell it. It's not what I can sell. But he felt sorry for her. And so he said, he bought the house. He bought her house. So he buys her house and he fixes it up, puts a little bit of money into it, fixes it up, gets it painted, doesn't have to do a lot to it, puts it on the market, sells it immediately as a starter home, and realized he made more money doing that than he was making day to day as a real estate broker. And he loved it. He made the lady very, very happy. He made neighbors very, very happy that he fixed up her house. Then he got a first-time home buyer who was able to buy the house, and they loved the house. Everything was, he was being congratulated by everyone. And he realized, I should do that again. And so he started doing it, buying houses and turning them around. Well, after a while, he gave up the brokerage business, and he decided to put up some billboards around Dallas that said, HomeVestors, we buy houses. That's all it said, and a telephone number. Well, the billboard company thought he was crazy, because in those days, in the I guess this would have been in the 80s, maybe in the early 90s, no one was using telephone numbers on billboards. They were for institutional advertising, or it was a reminder of a brand. It wasn't a call to action. But Ken said, no, I want a phone number. And so they put it on there. Phone started ringing. I don't know, maybe he bought, his family thought he was crazy because he bought something like 100 billboards. And so the phone started ringing, but people were calling and saying, hey, my wife and I are getting a divorce. We just bought a brand new house. It's worth $800,000. We need to sell it. Can you come and, well, that's not the kind of house he wanted necessarily. Although, later divorce became one of his target markets as well. So he knew, look, I'm attracting people with nice houses. I don't want nice houses. I want run-down houses. How do I say that? We buy run-down houses. And then one day it hit him, we buy ugly houses. So he called the billboard company and he said, here's what I want you to do. And they, no, we're not doing that. We can't put ugly on a billboard. We're going to insult people. They'll hate you. You can't tell people they have ugly houses. And he said, look, I want 100 billboards. You want my business or you not want? They took his business. They put up, we buy ugly houses. Fortunately, he trademarked it. And wow, did that take off. When I left HomeVestors in 2009, and I had sold the company at that time because there was the real estate debacle had occurred, and we did a fire sale on the company. We had like 250, 60 franchisees, but many of them were in trouble. Fortunately, we sold the business to Fred DeLuca, the co-founder of Subway, who was one of our investors. And at that time, when I left in 2009, the We Buy Ugly Houses billboards, which were everywhere, but only in 32 states where we existed. But people thought we were in California. They saw signs in California, and we weren't in California, but people saw these billboards everywhere in America. And they generated 250,000 phone calls every year from people who would say, I have an ugly house. Would you come and buy it? Or my house is so ugly, I don't think you'll want to buy it, but would you come and take a look at it? Or my wife and I are getting a divorce and it's ugly. We have a nice house, but we have an ugly situation. Or we're going to have our 10th baby and we live in a 2-bedroom house. This is an ugly situation. We need to move. So those all became scenarios for our franchisees to go buy those houses. And they could buy those houses, maybe a $100,000 house for $50,000 or $70,000, and put $5,000 to $10,000 into the home and put it on the market, or flip the house to an investor. And that became a very, very viable business, particularly until the real estate debacle of 2007 and 8.
Mm-hmm.